Hi guys! So today I sat down with the aim of creating a newly infected zombie kind of look, and it's not even a zombie really, more like someone who has just been bitten and is infected and slowly turning into a zombie, and it turned out completely different to how I'd planned it to look. In my head it was a lot more subtle, but then I started with the boils and I just got completely carried away, but I'm so happy with how it turned out. So for the eyes, I wanted something that looked nice and sore and irritated, and the less human the better really, so I decided to go for these huge red sclera lenses in the style Carnage. So starting with the skin, you want to rip up the edges of the sponge like this, and then use that to apply liquid latex in random patches to start giving the skin some texture. By ripping up the sponge, you give it an uneven texture, so the application of product will also be uneven, which is again just going to help with the texture. Then once it's dry, you want to pick up the latex, and again, it's all about the texture. You just want your skin to look gross and kind of flaky and just delicious. So you want to pick at it, and I use my nails for this, and I like to pick off little sections and peel little bits back. And you can also use tweezers, and you can get in there with a spatula as well. You can also use something like a knife or a spatula and just drag it across the surface, because it's going to stick to the latex ever so slightly, and again just kind of peel little bits off. Next, I added some boils, and I made these out of prosthetic gelatin, and I'll write in the description how I made them if you're interested. And I know I've done a zombie look with boils before, but I just really like how they look. I think they look really effective and then really quite easy to do. But I have been teaching myself prosthetics and sculpting recently, so I have plenty of different zombie styles that I want to do. They won't be up before Halloween, but hopefully you'll still enjoy watching them, because I'm not going to stop doing this kind of video after the Halloween period is over, because I realised this is where my love is for makeup. I did a lot of beauty videos for a while, and don't get me wrong, I love the beauty side of things as well, but this is definitely where my passion lies, so I'm probably going to do way more of this kind of stuff from now on. Instead of going for a full coverage colour on the face, like a face paint or a foundation or something, I decided to use inexpensive cream products instead that I know from experience don't have much pigment to them, to kind of give my skin like a green, sickly tint instead. The product kind of clings to the latex and creates like an outline, but don't worry about that for now. Later on we're going to add some red and purples around the boils anyway, so you're not even going to notice it. Now, one of my favourite parts about this look is the eyes, which were somewhat inspired by the Vampire Diaries actually, with all the veins and things. So I started by adding some blue tones underneath the eye with the Nye Bruise Wheel, and then using the heat from my fingers, I just kind of press that in and blend it, because the heat from your fingers is going to really work with the cream product and make it blend into your skin a lot better. So now I look nice and tired, but it's the sore red around the eyes that's my favourite bit. So to do this, you want to take a red liner across the waterline and then blend it out in the inner corner to make them look nice and irritated, and then you can also bring it down a bit in the outer corner as well. Just make sure you get it right up into the lash line so there isn't that awkward kind of fleshy tone peeking through and then disconnecting the makeup. If you have that disconnect there, it's not going to look real. I mean, it's not going to look real anyway because it's a zombie, but we can try our best. Then I applied some of the liner to my finger and then transferred that onto the lid a little as well. Later on, I actually take this across the upper lash line too, again to prevent that disconnect, so you can go ahead and do that now as well. Then you want to create little veins coming away from the eyes like this, and you can also do the finger thing again and just press down with your finger, and the heat is going to help soften the edges and make them look more realistic and like they're part of the skin. You also want to go in with some blue or purple veins as well, and then you want to take this across the top of the eyelids as well. I decided that the red around my eyes didn't look quite as intense as I'd like it to be with the contact lenses. It wasn't really working, the contacts were still just stealing the show. So I went in with a darker red from my Nye Bruise Wheel again, and I just went in and darkened everything up. And this is where I went across the top lash line as well. So when I'm filming these looks, a lot of it is trial and error. I was joking with Brad the other day how I should have just called my channel Trial and Error, because most looks I do, I'm kind of just trying for the first time, or I'm trying new techniques, and that's just how it's always been. So because of that, I kind of just make things up as I go along, and therefore the look just takes form as I go along, and I just decide to do random things. So then I decided that I wanted to add a lot more green into the look. So I took the green from the bruise wheel. This bloody bruise wheel, I use it so much. It's such a good investment. If any of you do this kind of makeup, you really want to just get your hands on these. So anyway, yeah, I decided to add the green in the contours of my face and my neck and around my collarbones, and then I kind of decided it was a bit too green and it wasn't looking quite as realistic anymore. But then I kind of realized that a zombie isn't realistic anyway, so I decided to go crazy with the green and the purples from then on. So the green was looking a bit too cartoony green, so I also went in with the blue to kind of darken those areas up a bit and make them look more bruise-like, I guess. For the lips, I went in with the blue just on the centre first, and then I wanted to make them look really pale. So I first tried going over with the green paint from before, but that didn't really work because, like I said, it isn't that pigmented. So instead I went over with a bit of concealer, and this is actually a thing people used to do in school. Well, my school anyway, when I was at school. People used to wear concealer as lipstick, literally like this, and I still have no idea why that was a thing. So moving on to my delicious boils, I first went around them with the red from my bruise wheel, and then when there was less on the brush, I kind of speckled it further away from the boils to make that whole area look really sore and irritated. Then you want to go back in and do the same thing with the purpley blue, and this time when you get further away from the boils, it's actually going to work with the red and kind of look like spidery veins as well. Although we are going to add some actual veins later on too. Around the nostrils, I went in with a red because I imagined that this zombie infection would start with a fever and then you'd slowly turn into the zombie. So the person before would probably have had a cold and a bloody nose and things, and just cause irritation around the area from blowing it so much before the turn. So that was my thinking behind that area, and the uneven texture around the nose and things. Like, you know when you've blown your nose too much and then you have no skin on your nose and it's really red? I wanted that kind of look, but a little bit worse because we're kind of dead. Like I mentioned before, I decided to go for it with the greens and the purples, so instead of leaving the tops of the boils fleshy toned or going in with a yellow like a regular pus, I decided to go with a gross green colour instead. Then I finished off the makeup with some of my beloved purple veins, and I just kind of brought them out from the boils and some down from the hairline, and just got crazy with them. I also took them on the neck just really randomly because I think they really pulled the look together, to be honest. Greasy hair is probably the route you want to go down with this look, so I would recommend using coconut oil and just taking that through your hair with your fingers. And if you're going somewhere dressed like this, then you're also going to give your hair a lovely hydrating treatment throughout the evening, and you're going to smell delicious, so everyone wins. But then that's it. That's our newly infected zombie slash person thing. One thing I want to say before I sign off today, I haven't done as many Halloween videos as I'd planned to do. I have tons of them planned, but for the past 2 weeks I've just been in this rubbish creative rut, and every time I've sat down to film I've just hated everything I've come up with. Like I said, I have all these things planned, so I'm definitely gonna still do them. I'm just kind of disappointed in myself that I haven't got them done before Halloween, but I know a lot of you really enjoy these kind of looks, so I hope it's good news to some of you that I will be continuing them for the rest of time. And yeah, I hope you like the look, and thank you for watching. Bye.